Hello everyone, and welcome to the 4th week of Eggplant Infinity. For this week, we have something really fun planned. We are going to be cooking, and more specifically, we're going to be cooking eggplant. Now, I've never really eaten eggplant before, and I've never really even held an eggplant until now, so I'm really excited to do this. So what I'm going to do with my eggplant is fry it in a pan with some red onions, and then top that with a little bit of mozzarella cheese, and then put that on top of some slices of tomato. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to turn out, but let's go to the kitchen and get started with this. So the first thing I did is I covered my pan with oil, and for this dish I decided to use olive oil because it just fits the best. And then I took my spatula and I spread the oil around the entire base of the pan. To check if the oil was ready, I simply put a piece of onion on it to see if it sizzled, and when it did, I added the rest of my onions. Then I gave my onions a quick toss, a quick stir to get them brown, to get them cooking a little bit, before I added my seasonings. Now for the seasonings, just flavor it to your own taste. That's exactly what I did. I just simply put in whatever I wanted to my own taste. Then I gave it another stir to get the flavoring of the seasonings locked into those onions. Once I felt the onions were good, I added my eggplant, which I cut into discs and then into fourths, and I just simply stirred those into the onions to get more of that flavor going before I added more of the seasonings. And yes, I used the same 3 seasonings that I used for the onions because I want to get that same flavor locked into the actual eggplant itself. After giving it a good stir to mix everything together, I put the lid on and just let it sit for a while. To avoid any sticking, I had to mix it around a bit every so often, and on top of that I had to add more oil because the original oil was all soaked up by the eggplant. After cooking for a bit, it was ready for cheese, and for me, I used mozzarella cheese because I felt it would go really well with this dish, and it turns out I was right about that. Now, I had to make sure not to use all of my cheese all at once because I wanted to top it all with cheese later. So, I used about half the cheese I had, and I mixed it all in and got it all nice and gooey and sticking together, which was really nice for me later. After that was all mixed in, I moved it to a separate bowl temporarily while I got my tomatoes ready to put on. I'm pretty sure this was the easiest part. All I really had to do was lay my tomatoes out on the skillet. Next, all I simply did was put spoonfuls of the eggplant onion stuff on top of each slice of tomato. And like I said before, I used the rest of my cheese to top each one, and then I covered it with the lid just for a little while just to let everything get all nice and melted down. Once it was all good and nice and done and ready and stuff, I put it on a platter to serve. And so, here it is. Out of all this, I made 14 of these and was able to have some eggplant stuff to spare, which is pretty great. But enough of this. Let's get back to my room now. So there we have it. It's all done, and I have a little plate here for myself to try it, so let's try it. Wow, it's not bad. That is not bad at all. I didn't really expect it to taste like that. That's actually pretty good. Oh yeah, that goes really good with the tomato also. That's really good. I really enjoy this actually. But now that that's over, let's move on to the vlog part of the video. To continue with the topic of food, we're supposed to talk about our favorite kind of food. Now I don't really have one specific favorite food because I love to cook and eat all different kinds of foods, but I have narrowed it down to a few genres, I guess, of food. I really dig Mexican food and I guess American food, but my absolute favorite kind of food is Asian food. It's just so fun to cook and so delicious to eat, and I just love it. I just love it so much. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's the kind of food that I cook the most out of everything I cook. And I would get into the subcategories and specifics of which kinds of Asian food I like, but that's a whole nother video, that's a whole nother list, that would take so much time, so we'll just leave it here for now. But that is it for me for this week. I'm gonna get out of here and go eat more of that eggplant stuff because it's really freaking good. So if you enjoyed this video, there are more to come this entire week. Everyone else in the group is making their own eggplant dishes, so you can go ahead and subscribe up there to be notified of when their videos come out. But I'm going to go now, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next week.